Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. This is David Lim. Today, we are going to discuss 510K submission and clearance. This is general disclaimer, and I think this is for your review. Now, today's webinar objectives include various items. So we are going to review the applicable statutes and the federal regulations governing 510K. And we are also going to talk about some regulatory requirements for 510K submissions. And also we are going to talk about the predicates and how to choose predicates and how medical devices are classified, and what are the common deficiencies during 510K submissions, and how can we improve the 510K submission qualities. And also we are going to talk about some guidance documents and voluntary standards and for you to consider to use. And also we are going to talk about some questions and how to communicate with the reviewers, and if there is some different opinions, and how to facilitate the 510K review process. Well, this slide shows the applicable statutes and federal regulations. So, for example, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, that's enacted in 1938. And since then, there have been a lot of amendments. For example, Medical Device Amendment, May 28, 1976, and Safe Medical Device Act, November 28, 1990. And in fact, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, we commonly call FDNC Act, or the Act. When we say, or when I say Section 513 or 510K, those refer to sections, in the FDNC Act. For example, Section 513A of the Act, FDNC Act, defines 3 medical device classes in the U.S. And these federal statutes are the statute, and they are the United States Code section that correspond to the responding sections of the FDNC Act. And federal regulations, for example, Title 21 Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, pass through from 800 through 1299, are in fact related to medical device. Now, let's briefly look at the definition for a medical device. Well, according to Section 201H of the FDNC Act, device is determined, as shown in this slide, instrument, apparatus, machine, implant, in vitro, reagent, etc. But what I'm trying to bring your attention when we interpret the device is right here. So to be called as a medical device, it has to meet all the definition right here. And in addition to regarding primary intended purposes, should not be achieved through chemical action within or on the body of man, and also shouldn't be achieved through the metabolism, which means that when you deal with or encounter a combination product, where do you draw the line between device and drug or biologics? So this definition, I'd like to bring your attention for you to consider when we talk about combination products. Now, let's talk about 510K program concept. Back in 1976, the Congress passed the Medical Device Amendment that was enacted in order to foster the creation of safe medical device. As a result of this MDA, well, it is an amendment to the FDNC Act, by the way. As a result, FDA authority was expanded to regulate medical device, and the FDA created the concept of the 510K program. So let's look at 510K of the FDNC Act. So 510K refers to the section which correspond to Title 21 United States Code, Section 360. So now, according to Section 510K of the FDNC Act, it states, this is the Section K, it states that you have to, well, at least 90 days before you are trying to introduce or deliver your device to the market, you have to report to the secretary. And, the requirements you have to mention about class, and you have to talk about, state the actions taken, complying with the requirements right here. So according to FDNC Act, Part A, that talks about drugs and devices. So, for example, FDNC Act, Chapter 5, drugs and devices, and then under Chapter 5, there is a Part A, B, C, D, E, for example, and then here, Part A, it talks about drugs and devices. These sections correspond to Title 21 United States Code sections. For example, these section numbers refers to those in FDNC Act, and these sections refers to Title 21 United States Code. For example, Section 510 of the FDNC Act refers to correspond to Section 360 of the Title 21 United States Code regarding registration of producers of drugs or medical devices. So, in fact, when you look at the FDA warning letters, the warning letter refer to sections of FDNC Act. They also refer to sections of the United States Code. Those are the federal law and the statutes, and they also refer to some the regulatory sections, Title 21 CFR. Now, let's briefly talk about what is 510K pre-market notification. Well, we talk about it refers to 510K of the FDNC Act section, but then, what is the requirement to meet this 510K section? Well, you have to demonstrate that your device to be marketed is at least as safe and effective to what? To a legally marketed device. So that that talks about the substantial equivalence, and that's what we are going to focus on today. Now, what is substantial equivalence? Well, substantial equivalent term is right here, FDNC Act, the section, for example, 513I of the Act. Well, basically, substantial equivalence means with respect to a device being compared to a predicate device, for example, your subject device, that your device has the same intended use. Please note, the same intended use, this term is used in the FDA's the guidance document issued December 27, 2011. In fact, in the statute, it's the same language is right here, as you can see, same intended use as the predicate, right? And also the same technological characteristics. So even though FDA guidance document states that this is a proposed changes later on, but in fact when you look at the actual statutes, it is the same language, the same technological characteristics. Or what if the device does not have the same technological characteristics? Well, you have to mention that your device is still safe and effective. Well, we are going to talk about further. For example, let's look at here. So your device, subject device, has the same intended use, same technological characteristics, and therefore your device is as safe and effective as a legally marketed device. And it does not raise different questions right here, different question. But currently the FDA, their review is still based on different types of question, not different questions. So the guidance document that was issued last December exactly uses the same language here, same intended use, and raised different questions. So I am not going to talk about the guidance document since we are reviewing the actual language from the statutes, right? So now, when there is a different technological characteristics, for example, that there is significant change in the material of your device, design, energy source, or other features of the device, from those of the medical or from those of the predicate device, then, you have to submit the 510K.